Hey guys, Caden and Untitled Chapter 2 here, and the reason why I've got most of my Bachmann models out here today is because I wanted to talk about what my thoughts are on the new release announcements for the Bachmann range. And these were announced on Friday. So let's get into the HO scale stuff first. And let's talk about what we've got announced first for engine wise. First off is Bo. Now, Bo was a bit of an odd choice for the range, and he wasn't a character I was expecting to be announced. But it is good to see that he's getting merchandise after his wood model, both the unpainted and fully painted versions, got cancelled. And he's actually the first international character to be released in the Bachmann range too. But it's still understandable why not most weren't too excited about Bo, was because he only appeared like for a few minutes in the Big World Big Adventures movie. And it's also one of the things I'll say about this, because it's one of the first times we get a new tender engine in the Bachmann range since Donald and Douglas were announced and released. Now, let's talk about the other new engine we got announced for the Bachmann range. That being Rebecca. It is nice to get a new Steam team member to be released in the Bachmann range. And let me think for a moment, guys. It would be quite nice to see how Rebecca's going to turn out in the Bachmann range. I don't know, and Rebecca was also one I wasn't expecting to announce either. But it's still nice we're getting another new character rather than a repainted version of another tooling of an existing engine. And I think that could be the reason why Bachmann decided to make Bo, is because they're reusing the tooling from his class and just the face added on and Bo's paint scheme. Now let's move on to the rolling stock. First off, we've got a Mr. Jolly's Chocolate Factory van. This was announced in the large scale range at the start of this year, and now we're getting an HO version of this van. But it is quite understandable why Bachmann have decided to reuse toolings from other pieces of rolling stock and make it into some we get in the large scale range, but not in the HO/00 scale. But it's nice we're getting something that was first seen in Series 6. And Series 6 was also one of my childhood series as well. So that's why I'm quite excited about the Mr. Jolly's Chocolate Factory van. Now we're going to talk about the other rolling stock that got announced. That being the Brendan Bay Shipping Company box van. Just like with the Mr. Jolly's Chocolate Factory van that was announced, the large scale version of the Brendan Bay Shipping Company van was announced at the start of this year. And I'm also quite pleased that we're getting an HO/00 scale of the Brendan Bay Shipping Company van. And now let's talk about the narrow gauge stuff. This year we get no new narrow gauge engine announced. I was hoping for possibly Duncan or Luke or Millie or possibly even Victor to be announced, but nope, no new narrow gauge engine. I think the reason could be is because they just brought out Yellow Reneas and Peter Sam, and that it's possible that Sahandle could be in production, which I'm looking forward to seeing released. The narrow gauge rolling stock we get is the Gondola Wagons, and I actually saw those when I was at the Tythland Railway when I was in Wales last month. And the colours we get are Oxide Red, Dark Grey and Light Grey. Hopefully we'll get some loads in the trucks, which will be nice, because it'll be nice to have loaded trucks rather than empty ones. And let's talk about another narrow gauge thing that got announced. Now, this wasn't anything Thomas. We get Tally Flynn. Tally Flynn is being released in all three liveries, those being the black livery, and the red livery which Tailfin received in 2015. And we're getting the green livery of Tailfin. I've also heard that Tailfin is going to be painted green once the overhaul is complete. And when I was at the Tailfin Railway, I got told that Tailfin's overhaul is coming along, but slowly. And I'm actually quite excited for Tailfin, guys. I'm quite tempted to get all 3 liveries in Tailfin, but we'll see near the time. Now, let's talk about the N-scale stuff. Even though I don't have any N-scale engines. The engine we've got announced is Gordon in the N-scale range. It's quite nice that we get another character both in the railway series and the television series. That being Gordon, one of the most important characters of the whole franchise. And let's move on to the rolling stock that got announced the N-scale range. That being Toad. I know Bachmann kind of should have waited to do an N-scale other so they can do him with Toad, but okay. It's nice that Toad's getting an N-scale model as well. And I'm actually pleased that Toad's getting merchandise again since we got this version of the Bachmann Toad out here. As well as his 2019 capsule player model that got released for the Toad and the Whale edition back in November 2019. It's quite glad Toad's getting an N-scale model. And now onto the large scale stuff, even though I don't have large scale either. They're bringing in Toby's museum coaches for the large scale range. And I think the reason why Bachmann decided to do this, because they probably wanted to, again, reuse the tooling from the large scale Bright Line coaches and do a Toby's museum coaches in large scale range, possibly for those who do collect the Bachmann large scale engines and rolling stock. So, what are my thoughts on the range? It's a bit of a mixed bag for me. Such as Bo being announced, which was what I was not expecting. Same with Rebecca. I was hoping they would announce someone like possibly Diesel 10, Stanley, Harvey, and possibly someone like Sydney. But on the bright sides of Bo and Rebecca being released is that it's been the first time we get new tender engines in the Bachmann range since Don and Douglas, not counting the Busy Bee and Origin James, which are obviously repainted versions of the original Bachmann James model. But I know some may not get Bo, but I probably might just get Bo since I do collect the Bachmann range. Same thing with Rebecca. Rebecca's a character I actually don't really mind. And I just want to try and be a bit more positive with the what we got during the Big World Big Adventures era. And I will definitely get the rolling stock and the Tailfin models. Or at least one of them. But as I said, I will still decide near the time when the Tailfin models actually do get released. So, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!